Trigger warning, today's video will be discussing subjects about discrimination towards the LGBTQ+ community, homophobia, and there will be clips and images of homophobic protests in this video and throughout.
There are only two genders which God has fixed. Marriage can only be between one man and one woman. That's how you got here.
Y ser homosexual no es un delito, es una condición humana. Somos todos hijos de Dios. Y Dios nos quiere como estamos y con la fuerza que luchamos cada uno por nuestra dignidad. El ser homosexual no es un delito. No es un delito.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about God and LGBTQ+. My own personal belief I stand by. I believe God is an energy of love in its purest form. I believe God is love and love only, and loves you just the way you are and despite what you do. In my beliefs, God can only love, for God is only love. I don't believe God judges people, only loves them. And it's unconditional. Genuinely, nothing breaks my heart more than seeing people chat about how they were delivered and saved from being gay or queer. If God is love in its purest form, why would God see the sexuality you are as a sin and something to be ashamed of and need to be rescued from? If you are gay or queer, it's because you can feel love or attraction for a member of the same sex. There is nothing evil or sinful about that because ultimately it is love. I also worry for kids who are brought up being told it's evil to be gay or queer and see how demonized sexuality is in certain beliefs, because if they're struggling with their own sexuality or gender identity and hear these negative connotations towards people like them.
This movement, this whole LGBT movement is anti-God, it's anti-Christian. That is why you are here today, because you reject God.
It makes them feel like they are doing something wrong and what they feel is wrong, and there is something wrong with them when there isn't. My own personal sexuality. I am a proud queer woman, and when I was at the peak of my confusion about my sexuality, I hadn't told anyone in my family, but gone to stay with an extended family member. And I don't know if they had maybe picked up intuitively I might be queer, and I can't remember what started the conversation off, but one day they had said that if they ever had a queer or gay family member, they would disown them, and that it was a sin and demonic possession to be queer, and that God wouldn't love them if they were gay, and it's wrong. As I was quite young, when I heard this, it scared the crap out of me. Now, I didn't believe that God wouldn't love me if I was queer, because I believed since being a young child that God is the energy of love and love only, and God is love and love only. But it was more the fear of losing this particular family member if I was to come out, because I loved them and they meant a lot to me and they'd known me and been around me since I was a kid, so the idea of losing them scared the hell out of me and them thinking that I was wrong or sick. But then one day, I just kind of thought, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am and who I choose to love, because it is not shameful. It's love, and love is beautiful. And if they were to truly love me, if they truly loved me for who I am, then me being queer shouldn't matter to them. And they don't need to understand it, but they should still accept me because they love me. And I'm not harming it myself, I'm not harming anyone, I'm just being comfortable with who I am. That shouldn't matter to them. Their love should be unconditional, not dependent on who I am, who I love, or how I identify. So I decided I would come out and be proud of who I am, and if I lose people for being queer, then they weren't meant to be my life anyway. I don't want to invest my time and energy into people who would see me being comfortable and happy within myself as a sin or as evil. I think it's wrong to not accept somebody just because they are gay or queer. I have an extended family member who I was so nervous to come out to because she's highly religious and I adore her. But I am one of the lucky ones, because when I did come out, I was met with nothing but love and acceptance and support. And she said to me, "You were created in God's image. God made you exactly the way you are, and God loves you for who you are. And I do too." When she said that, it felt like a weight had been taken off my shoulders, because I was pondering for ages about being honest about who I was, but I also didn't want to I couldn't bear the idea of just not being able to be free and be myself around her. Like, it felt like I was carrying a secret that I was too scared to tell her, and that became increasingly suffocating as a feeling, because it felt like I was just constantly hiding and I didn't have that freedom, I wasn't being free with who I really was. And I hated that feeling of someone I loved so much not really knowing who I truly am. So when I told her and I had that reaction, I cried. I cried, and I felt so loved and so happy. And I am lucky, because even when I told my immediate family, and I told them first, they knew for a good couple of years before this family member did. When I told them, I was lucky because they were nothing but loving and supportive, and have continued to stand by me to this day. I am a mixed race woman, and my mum is African, and there is definitely a stigma around sexual orientation and homosexuality within some African cultures and community. And traditionally speaking, there always has been. I think it's a lot more accepting now but in the past it definitely was seen as a taboo and something to be ashamed of, or something sinful. And a lot of religious African people still have these beliefs, especially those who are, you get religious people who are African who are very accepting of homosexuality, don't get me wrong, but there is some people where they still think it is a sin and it's wrong and it's demonized. But when I had my first girlfriend, my mum never felt ashamed to post pictures of me and her online, or of her with my girlfriend, and she was very open that I had a girlfriend. And even when she was met with the odd negative comment from somebody on her social media who was highly religious and against homosexuality, she still defended me and never saw who I was and identified as something to be ashamed of. She fought tooth and nail for me, actually. She really had my back, and that meant so much to me at the time. Both of my parents have always said that love is love, and as long as you are happy, I am happy, and I feel truly lucky and blessed for that, and to have parents like that. I am definitely one of the lucky ones, because I know people where they haven't been as lucky with their family members after they've come out. Some don't even have contact with their loved ones anymore because of their sexuality, and that truly breaks my heart. I think it's so heartbreaking that they've lost somebody or people they love so much just because of being who they are. Like, that is heartbreaking. They're not harming anyone, but because they identify as being gay or queer, their parents and their family members have turned their backs on them. I understand that religious people who believe it is wrong to be queer have a discomfort towards queer people, but maybe there's also an element of fear there too. It's either because they can't understand why a person would be attracted to a member of the same sex, and so it freaks them out, but with some people I've encountered, it's because they struggle themselves with their sexuality and feel ashamed about it. A lot of the times, the most homophobic people are closeted. It's because they struggle within themselves about their sexuality and feel shamed about it. They have a battle within themselves internally about their own sexuality, maybe due to what they have been brought up to believe, being told it's a sin or evil to be queer. So seeing someone being so open and comfortable within themselves in their own sexuality triggers them, and they react with an anger and judgment towards them. But I'll never understand people who go out their way to make another person feel bad about their own sexuality and who scrutinise another person for their own sexuality. Never mind protests against queer or LGBTQ+ people. But it correlates with my belief that there is a discomfort and an imbalance within themselves internally, because as I've said before, no one who is genuinely at peace and happy within themselves would feel the need to go out of their way to crucify and attack a group of people for who they love and feel attraction for, and for being comfortable within their own sexuality. If you're listening to this today or watching this today and you are having this battle internally about your sexuality, and maybe you have grown up being told that it is wrong to be queer or to be gay, please know that if you are not harming anyone or harming yourself, there is nothing to be ashamed for. You should never feel ashamed for who you are and for what you identify as. And anyone who deserves to be in your life will love you because you are you. And that love will not be conditional. Never feel ashamed for who you are. and know that God loves you exactly the way you are. To conclude, love is love, God is only love, and God loves you regardless. Wishing blessings and love to you all, and wishing everybody nothing but their own inner love and inner acceptance for who they are. Life is too short to not unapologetically be yourself.
Does God love me?
Yeah, God loves you.
Then that's all that matters.
Well, listen.